back on, Gertie Roo, back again, the Thursday mood. Tomorrow's Friday, the beginning of the long May bank holiday weekend. I can't wait, can you? If you're in Britain or wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a lovely extended weekend. We're going to have it over here. I expect everybody has a May Day, don't they? I'm sure they do. Anyway, this has come up and it's really exciting. Could Prince William strip Meghan Markle of royal title after he becomes king? Well, I say that's one of the best ideas he's ever come up with. Look at Kate. She looked lovely there. She's wearing black like she's not supposed to wear black, but we won't talk about that. Anyway, shall we plunge in and see what's happening? Come on then.
Meghan of their royal titles when he ascends to the throne.
Oh.
Now, these rumours have been floating around for a while now, and it all tracks back to when Harry and Meghan first quit the royal family way back in 2020.
Right.
At the time, they obviously had many discussions with the Queen and other
Queen.
members of the royal family about what their roles were going to look like when they...
Well, if you're talking roles, they're probably going to be covered in dead bleeding petals, aren't they, really, to be fair? Especially if you let her anywhere near
left
them.
the UK and moved to California. After
Barry,
a lot of discussion, it was decided that the two of them were no longer going to be able to use their HRH title.
Right?
This
What's
is
going
largely
on?
because those titles are afforded only to a very few people within the most upper echelons.
Exactly, take them away. I didn't hear what you said, but whatever it is you said, I totally agree. Totally agree. Can we do it now? Please free us from this torment. You'd be surprised what she gets up to, this one behind the scenes, you know. Can't say. Naughty.
Of the royal family. Specifically, those royals who are working members of the family.
Right.
Not just people who were born into it. Prince Andrew was stripped of his HRH title after his involvement in the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, and many believe...
But I don't think they are HRH, are they? Didn't the Queen take the HRH? They're just Prince Harry and the Duchess of Muchness, whatever her name is. I know she calls herself Her Royal Highness, but I think that was taken away because they did their freedom flight, didn't they, darlings?
When Harry and Meghan left the royal family,
flight.
They should
like they're
lose...
airlifted out of Rwanda, you know. Oh, I don't know what's happening. I don't know. What's going on? Is it Vietnam? Yes, airlift, quick, save the prince and the muchness.
The ability to use those royal titles in everyday life.
Yes.
Now, it's a bit of a complicated subject because Harry and Meghan have always gone by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, at least since they married and were afforded those
Listen,
titles.
love, I live in Sussex. I keep saying, we ain't seen hide nor hair of them. But you bet your bottom dollar they're getting the money for being the Duke and Duchess of Muchness, Sussex.
The Queen. However, there is a bit of a difference between using Duke and Duchess of Sussex almost like their names, and then using those titles but adding the HRH.
Right.
That is something that Meghan is understood to have done when she was sending out pots of her new jam to various influencers and friends.
Oh my God, I don't believe it. Oh, I do actually, no. I can't, this is just... I mean, crass springs to mind as well as many other expletives, none of which I'm going to be tempted to utter. No, not me.
An image of a note that Meghan had supposedly written,
which
featured her HRH title.
As ever, it's just runny, syrupy, juicy stuff.
Was posted on social media, and it prompted a furious backlash. Many people believed that it was a disrespectful
What's going on
move,
with the jacket,
particularly because the Queen had voiced her disapproval of Harry and Meghan using those titles after they quit the royal family.
Fair dues.
Now, many thought that Charles might take a step forward
after
he ascended to the throne by preventing Meghan and Harry not only from using HRH, but also from using the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
Yeah.
However, it seems like he's more eager to kind of fly under the radar, not to take any really serious steps.
Yeah, I think, I'm not being funny, love, I think us in Britain, we've worked that one out. We sort of know what Charles is like. And we know that whatever he does will provoke such an amazing, narcissistic, bleeding outcry that it's not going to be worth it. So, and I mean, even if they do know stuff on him, that they probably make stuff up as well to just, you know, and knowing her, because we all know how they work, they won't release it, other people will release it, do you get me? It won't be nothing to do with them though, you know, so, and he don't need it with all the stuff going on, but William's going to, I totally agree, let's do it now.
Widening gap
Can we do it today?
between Harry and Meghan and the rest of the royals. At this point in time, the royal family is really doing all it can to play down the controversy as far as that whole situation is concerned. They've got other bigger things to be dealing with, including Charles's own health battles.
Exactly.
William, on the other hand, his aggravation, his frustration with his brother has really only grown since 2020. William is really hurt, he's frustrated,
he's tall bugger,
and
isn't
he's annoyed that Harry
Look
and
at
Meghan
him.
continue.
He makes old Charles look like a shrimp. I don't know how tall's Charles. I mean, he's not like mini man, is he? He's quite tall. Is he, what, 5'10", 5'11"? But William, what is he, about 6'3", maybe? He's a tall lad, isn't he? I've never met them. Never met them, no. Well, that's not that I'm going to admit. Anyway, you know that restraining order, marched off the property business that none of us mention anymore. We don't talk about that. So yeah, he's a tall lad, isn't he? And he's never suffered falls gladly, has he, Wills? No, never. And he's had to suffer a couple of falls, quite a lot, hasn't he?
Continue to use their royal connections while essentially turning their back on every other aspect of royal life. So it makes sense that he is considering taking more drastic action as far as banning Harry and Meghan from using their royal titles in the future. I think, in all honesty, it's going to really be a case of where the situation lies when William does become king. Maybe by then things will have kind of smoothed over a little bit. Maybe William and Harry will have...
Right, so from here on we're just going to speculate, so there's that to it. Right, let's go.
Now, in terms of the private card surfacing on social media, Meghan has never been one to fully address these kinds of controversies head on. Right. She kind of skirts around them in an interesting way. But I think unless Meghan is told outright, you're no longer allowed to do this, and by outright, I do mean publicly, I think she's going to continue doing what she wants.
To be honest, knowing that personality type, I think if they did say anything, whether overtly or covertly, she'd redouble it. She'd do it even more. She's that type of personality type, isn't she? Right, let's just do a couple more minutes and then on board.
Typically, Meghan and Harry don't use HRH in public. However...
it's like a toddler. You can't walk very far without holding onto an adult's hand. Adults say, yeah, that's pushing the extremities, isn't it? Yeah.
In a couple of instances over the years where the two of them have taken part in events and they've been introduced as HRH. Now, in those circumstances,
what's going on with the eyes there, darling?
Response has always been,
what's happening there?
We didn't have control over that. It was the choice of the event organisers, the choice of whoever was putting together this and that. They have always maintained that publicly they've adhered to the rules. They go by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
Oh, this was awkward. That was that awkward situation, wasn't it, darlings? Do we know that? Do we know that event? We know that, don't we? Yes. Shall I click it on and see if it happened? Let's do it.
HRH, at least not when they have
What's going on? Hold it, because it's going to fall.
This would not be the first time.
Oh, we could have had a bit of a bleeding gander there, couldn't we? That was that event, wasn't it? Yes. Say nothing. Don't say anything. Shh. Let's be polite. Pretend we haven't noticed.
That a monarch had chosen to rescind titles from members of the royal family.
Do it. Because they did it in Sweden. Didn't they do it in Sweden or Norway or somewhere like that? Denmark, somewhere like that. They took the titles away and said, Sodja. So causing too much trouble. I think they went to America and did something or other and monetised themselves. What royal family was it? It's one of the Nordic royal families, darlings. And she didn't care. She took them away. She said, that's it. You're not this, mind you, over there it's Prince and Princess. I don't know whether they had sort of Swedish dukedoms or Finnish or whatever it was. Yeah, I would. Bugger it.
Bit of a touchy subject, and I think
want to be free to be private or something.
For doing so, it's always perceived publicly as a kind of slight against whoever's title is being taken away. Now, in Denmark, the Queen decided to strip several members of the family.
It's Denmark. It's Denmark. Yes, I told you she did. She didn't care. They went over. They caused a lot of trouble, though, didn't they? From what I could gather.
Of their royal titles, she removed prince and princess titles from various family members.
Good.
And again, it caused huge controversy. Immediately, there was serious speculation.
Why don't we live in one happy global village where we're all equal? But we've got to have all these people that are a lot more equal than, say, the vast majority of the population on Earth. Oh my God, I've got another 2-minute clip I'm going to do in a minute where the Marklet tells us about a hard life. Get some tissues and get ready.
This had been done, who had offended the Queen, what had caused her to take this action. And I think even if you are going at it from the view of wanting to slim down the monarchy, of wanting to kind of tighten things up as far as the royal family employees are concerned, it's always going to be seen as a negative thing. And it's
well, I don't. This is bullshit because, excuse my sort of French, they can't strip him of prince because he was born prince. So sadly, and if they take away the Duchess of Sussex title, she will legally be able to term herself Princess Henry. It is sort of step up from Lady Colin Campbell, whose name obviously isn't Colin. She's got the title of her husband, or a late husband, or whatever he was, yeah? So it's the same. She can't call herself Lady Georgia, or whatever her name is. Georgina, is it? Georgina? I'm not sure what it is. I think she knows Georgie, isn't she? So she can't call herself Lady. She calls herself by her husband's title because she married into the title. So that would be the same with the Marklet. She won't be able to call herself Princess Meghan Mountbatten Windsor. She'll have to call herself Princess Henry Mountbatten Windsor.
Questions about why this action has been taken. Now, it's interesting because in the case of William, he is fully within his rights when he becomes the monarch to remove whatever title he sees fit. And I think, at least as far as the British public is concerned, everyone would understand the reasons for him choosing to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. However...
No, William, it's not the royal titles, it's the duchy. They're creaming off a load of bleeding income and they're never here. Like all the other duchies, they're associated and attached to their duchies. I don't know whether, because he's the Duke of York, isn't he, that one, Andrew? Does he go out there and do Yorkie stuff? I'm sure he does, because there's certain, like, high days on holidays and sort of civic affairs that he would represent the Duchy of York, because he's the Duke of York. And you've got the Duke of Devonshire, you've got the, you know, all different dukes, and they do things in their duchy, and that sort of justifies them creaming off the whatever it is they cream off. I think it's called tithes. It used to be called tithes in the old days. I don't think it is now. God knows what it's called. Probably something like just creaming it off, really. Luca, darlings, Luca.
Put a spin on it of we need to slim down the monarchy. They chose to leave the monarchy, but everyone is going to read into it and see something more significant. They are going to view this as William cutting ties with his brother once and for all. I think this is an action that you do not come back from.
I don't think he will if things change, if you get me, capiche, without explaining what I mean. So I'm bored with this lady already. I mean, she's lovely, she's gorgeous, love her nails, love all her bling, 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 finger bling, because we are invited to look in the hand area quite a lot more than anywhere else, so obviously that's where I've been looking. And that is a thing, and, you know, seems like William's going to take their titles, or their titles. Who can tell? Well, it's all to play for, isn't it, really, darlings? Anyway, I'm bored, and you can go and watch the whole thing. It's on Sky News Australia. Wherever you are in the world, have a lovely rest of the day. Bye-bye now.